Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Just finished work, as you can see. I just wanted to touch base quickly, just talk about doing 9-to-5 jobs and some of the negatives that come with it, and I think why everyone should have a plan at some stage in their life to try to escape a 9-to-5 job the best that you can and as quick as you can. And I've been now working in corporate for 16 years, 17 years actually, nearly. I've been in corporate. I work in IT and I've seen it all. Like, I've seen absolutely everything. And I think what triggered me to make a video like this now is that we've just moved locations at my current job up the road, and it's just been an absolute hell. The amount of work, the overtime, the stress, you could just see everyone in the office is so stressed. Everyone's just running around. Like, it is just absolute chaos. There's also, like, we got no parking, for us to park. It's like street parking, or there's on-site parking, but it's $20 a day, to make it very difficult for the staff. No free parking at all. But, like, everything I've seen in my 16, 17 years of working corporate, it's just been hell after hell, day in, day out. I've seen so much changes, so much, has happened. And at the end of the day, these places don't care about you or me or anyone. They don't care. They just don't care. I've been made redundant. My previous job, I was there for 8 years. You get called in one day and that's it. Today you're there, tomorrow you're not there. You're gone. There's an envelope, goodbye. Finished. So, yeah, my career has been, it's spanned across 3 large organizations in corporate. So I first started off in education. So I was at education for 3 years in IT. Then after that, I wasn't made redundant, I left. I went into automotive. So I worked for one of the largest automotive companies, and I was there for 8 years. Then was made redundant. And now I'm in the health field. So I'm working for one of the largest health fields in the country. And they've all had their challenges, I'll be honest. They've all had their challenges. They've all very difficult, but this has been the biggest one out of all 3. This has been one of the hardest. My middle job, my second one, automotive, was the best. That was the best job. I would give anything to go back. That was great. But I have to say, thanks to this job that I work at now, it's made me, it's woken me up. It's woken me up to that now. You need other income streams. You need other options. And if you haven't gotten it, you got to look for them. You've got to find other options. You have to try. And it's really pushed me. It's really pushed me hard to get the hell out of there. That's my aim. My aim is to get out of there as quick as possible. I've been at this organization now nearly 6 years. It's gone on to nearly 6 years. And it's been hell. Every single day we've worked so hard in this organization. And let me just say too that not one pay rise in nearly 6 years in this organization. If anything, is a paid degrade. So when I say I've seen it all, I've seen it all. We work so hard. I work so hard. My team works pretty hard. We get pushed to the limits, and every day we get given more and more and more tasks. They are absolutely brutal. Brutal. Managers, they will micromanage you from the moment you walk in to all your toilet breaks to the second you leave. You cannot leave a second earlier, and you cannot turn up 1 minute late, or you will be called in. The manager will have a word with you. So when I say it's full on, it's really full on. But this is the life of a 9-to-5 job. You know, this is the reality of a 9 to 5. Unfortunately, it's really, really harsh. You don't really have much options once you're in there. You truly are stuck. And that's why I say, you know, you really have to like find other ways, you know, and this job's really pushed me to find other streams of income. So basically I have my 9 to 5 job is my primary source of income, and then I have two others. I have my investment portfolio, which is very small. It's not big. I've only really started the last couple of years, but it's growing. It gets bigger and bigger every year, so that helps. And then my side hustle that I do is I do selling. I like to do buy and selling on the side, so that brings me in a few. Look, it doesn't bring me much. It brings me in a couple of grand a year. So a couple of grand a year helps me pay the bills. It helps out with everything. So that's why I tell people, you know, you really need to, you've got to find some sort of other income streams, you know, side hustle that you can do in your time. It's hard, like with a 9 to 5 job, it's really hard to get the time, but you've got to squeeze it in, you know, even weekends. You really have to try, you know, and this is something that I've always wanted to do was, you know, YouTube. You know, I wanted to just start, you know, I've got a lot of experience when it comes to this work area, and I'm like, why not share it? Why not get other people's thoughts? I watch so many of these videos online, you know, they're all very similar. You know, it's all everyone just talking about their 9 to 5, how miserable it is, and it truly is, it really is, and I'm in the same position here. It truly is miserable. But I really wanted to share my experience, you know, where I've been, what I've done all these years, and, you know, it really is, it's hard out there, you know. And when you speak to people, the first thing they say is, just look for another job. Just look for another job. Like, what are you doing? You know, you're in a prison, just look for another job. Yeah, but I step out of one prison and I go into another prison. Maybe the cell is a little bit bigger. You're still doing your time, regardless. There's no way to escape. You really can't. So the only way, you know, from all the research I've done, on all the videos I've watched, it truly is, you need to build something of your own. You know, you really have to. That really is the way out. You've got to build something, you know, unless you're the CEO of an organization, and good luck getting that job, because they're all, you know, set for certain people. Not anyone can get those jobs, and they're very limited. You know, you're going to have to work on something yourself, you know, whether, you know, you're creative in an area, and you can show people, you can just, you know, show it on YouTube or whatever it is. You know, you've got to be creative in something, and you've got to show it. And then you got to be frugal. You've really got to be frugal with money. Something I've always been. I've been very frugal with money, and that is going to make also a big difference. If you're frugal with money, that's going to help, because especially in tough times like now, and if you're a low income earner like myself, I'm a low income earner, one of the best things you can do is just be very frugal. You know, be careful with your money. Don't spend your money on silly things. You know, be very careful. Count your pennies. You truly have to. You really got to count your pennies, because at any moment you could be laid off. And I know I've been in that position. I was laid off. You got to be very, very careful. So really try to spend. You know, I think my previous video was about, you know, spending money and how I save, and that's basically what I do. Like I you know, I'm always finding different ways. Every year I'm figuring out new ways where I can save money, cut back in different areas, you know, because I know, like, if I get laid off, that's it. You know, in this economy, it's going to be very hard to find another job tomorrow. You know, it might take a few weeks, might take a few months. So you've got to have money saved. You've got to have backup. It's really important to have some sort of money saved. But, you know, importantly, the direction I'm going in is you've got to have, you know, whatever you want to call it, alternative incomes, different income streams, side hustles, whatever you want to call it whatever it is. You have to have something else coming in, whether it's little, even if it's little. Start like myself. I'm not rich, far from it, but I'm starting somewhere. It's where I've got to start somewhere, because 9 to 5, you know, the two issues I have is I'm a low income earner. I earn absolutely nothing on a 9 to 5 job, and I really, really dislike my job. I hate my job. I tell everyone I can't do this long term. I'm pushing 6 years and I'm going to have a mental breakdown, and that's too long. I only expected to be in this job for about a year. But, you know, it's such a fast-paced job. I'm so exhausted when I come home. I'm absolutely dead. You know, I don't stop for a minute. We just don't stop. My whole team, we don't stop. We just get smashed every single day, constantly, every day. So you come home, you're dead. Your eyes are closing, your eyes are burning, you know, I'm burnt out. If I take a day off, the next day I come back in the office, you get smashed even harder. You're burnt out. So it's hard, you know, but I'm really pushing myself and pressuring myself as much as I can to try different things, you know, really, you know, do the best I can, you know, like I said, save money, do alternative, you know, streams of income, you know, my side hustle, buying and selling, I do that as to the best I possibly can. I'm trying really hard to make certain, you know, extra income, and it helps, you know, and I'm trying to grow that more and more as much as I can. But, you know, saving too, have an investment, you know, it doesn't have to be property. You know, everyone's like, get into property. Yeah, property is when you've got the money saved. You know, when you can drop $100,000 on property. If you haven't got that, put it on a high savings interest account in the bank. You know, whatever it is, it's 4.5%, 4%, 3.5%, whatever you can. Start somewhere. Look, shares. A lot of people have shares. I had shares many years ago. I got out of them. I wasn't a fan. But, you know, now thinking about them, it's probably not a bad thing. You know, whatever, it gets 8% interest, up to 8 to 11% interest on a good year. I mean, it's better than gambling your money away. It truly is. You know, you do it on one of those index funds, whatever it is, the safe ones. Pick the safe one. Don't just go out there and think you know it all. You know, if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not Warren Buffett, don't try to wing it. So just put your money, you know, and let it grow. Forget about it. Just let it keep growing for a rainy day, because you just never know when you might need that money. And I'm no financial advisor. I'm not giving you tips. I'm just telling you what I do. So, you know, try different things, you know, research, educate yourself, watch YouTube videos on economy and finance, do your best you possibly can, educate yourself, and that's all I can really say. You know, in times like this that it's really tough, and especially if you're like me and you've got this 9-to-5 job that you absolutely despise, that's even more of an incentive to go out there and try really hard, work really hard to do something else, to get other income streams. You've got to try. You really have to, because if not now, when? You know, are you waiting? What are you waiting for? Look, what are you waiting for? To be laid off? And then when you're laid off, you're like, oh crap, I've got no money. What do I do now? Then you've got even more pressure. Why? You've got a job. Try other things. Talk to people. See what other people do. Skill yourselves, skill up. You know, sometimes I think it's a waste of time just going back to school and doing courses and certificates and this and that and diplomas and degrees, when you're just back to square one again. Oh yeah, you got another qualification. You're back into a 9-to-5 job. Chances of getting redundant are pretty high. Let's face it. So look what's out there. You know, I'm not here to tell you to do digital marketing or digital products or whatever, but some people have had luck in them. You know, the whole Shopify. You know, people made it. Some didn't. Most didn't. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert in those kind of things, but maybe it's time to start, you know, really trying and exploring and give it a shot, because you just never know. You just never know where it might lead you. You just don't know. And that's what I'm doing right now. That's what I'm going to do, you know, because I'm done. I'm completely cooked and I'm fried with my 9-to-5 job. It's gotten me, and I'm getting older. I'm getting really old, you know, and I can't do this forever. And I just sit there and I just watch everyone running around the office, especially now. Everyone is just so stressed out, and I'm just like, and I'm seeing some of the older guys there. They're like 50 plus or in their 60s. They don't look good. They're not happy. They're grumpy, and I don't want to be like that. You know, I'm heading in that direction. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. I can't do it. So, you know, it's time for change. Time to step it up and look what else you can do out there in your spare time, how you can make some extra source of income. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. I just wanted to say also, you know, I keep getting comments on my page that I'm sort of a bot. I'm not a bot, okay? I do like putting gaming clips up. I love playing Counter-Strike. That's one of my #1 preferred games. And I'll continue, you know, putting up some more clips when I can. It's just that when I play the game, I play late at night. I'm exhausted. I should be going to bed early, I know. I'm playing at midnight and I have to get up at 5, 6 in the morning for work. So I'm exhausted. My reflexes are not there anymore. My eyes are closing. So, you know, I do my best. But I'm not a bot. I don't hack. I'm not a bot. I'm a real person. I am playing. It's not the greatest. It's not esports material. But I try to give you whatever I can to the best of my ability. So I will keep doing those videos. I really enjoy them. And I'm going to do a lot of shorts. I do a lot of short videos. Try to capture some of the best clips. But I do want to start doing some more full-length ones. They're just a little bit hard to do at the moment. But I will try and I'll upload them. So keep an eye out. But look, guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help. And yeah, I'll try to put out some more videos. I'll catch you in the next video. See yous.